$500 a week for the rest of your life, all right, or get $150,000 right now.
500 a week.
Say it one more time.
I'd say 500 a week.
Yeah, it's
500. Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this: would your lifestyle change at all with the $500 a week?
Than what it is now?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No.
I like that. How would you spend the money if you would spend it at all?
I probably would just save it because I don't need to spend it.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the Pull-Up Experience. We have another great edition for you tonight. We got my man, Mr. Darian Thomas, coming on and tell us about his great platform that he has and just what it means to be a content creator and a creative, to be honest, you know?
Yeah.
Without further ado, Mr. Darian Thomas, what's going on, my friend?
How's it going? Hey, I appreciate you, even thinking about me.
No, listen, bro.
It's humble.
I'm a admirer of consistency. And Lord knows you're consistent, my friend. The work and time you put into your platform, man, is phenomenal. And I'm like, we gotta have this man on. So thank you for taking the time out to be with us. You know,
I appreciate that.
Absolutely,
man.
man.
Appreciate that a lot. So.
No, man. Listen. And I'm like I said, I'm an admirer of consistency and of this great platform. I love what you do. I love how you. People think interviewing people is like easy to do. I don't think it's easy.
No, it's
an art to it, right?
It's a lot, and it's funny. I was talking to somebody else about it. It's just number one, getting people to stop. Obviously in this world that we live in today.
Yeah.
Downtown
Everybody
Cleveland,
moving and going.
Exactly, everybody moving and going. But I would say it's funny too because people ask like, hey, where is the hardest place to get people?
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, it's Las Vegas. Las Vegas has been the hardest place to get people to stop. Which the other end of that, you look at it, it's like, all right, everything's so in your face when you get there. But I've been doing it a while now to where I kind of, I wouldn't say perfected it, but have gotten better.
Yeah.
At getting people to stop and getting people to kind of open up a little bit more.
So. Oh, absolutely. Okay, so let's start from the beginning.
Yep.
Cleveland born and raised, or?
So, born in Cleveland.
Born in Cleveland.
Raised in Elyria.
Okay. There we go.
So,
No.
Yeah.
Shout out to Elyria, by the way.
Yeah.
No. Shout out to Elyria. So, growing up, were you part of the school paper? Like, where did it all start? Let's ask, where did it all begin, man?
That's a good question, man. And you know what? Nobody's really ever asked me that, where it kind of all began.
I do all right.
and so I can kind of go back, to my life story. I was born in Cleveland, moved to Elyria when I was pretty young, let's say maybe 3-4 years old. From there, I never knew my father. Right, never knew my father, but my stepfather married my mother at a pretty young age. From there we moved to Elyria, bought a house. They bought a house and everything like that. Life is normal. Then my stepfather had a massive heart attack, paralyzed him. Pretty young age. I want to say I was 10, 9 or 10 at the time. My little sister, called the ambulance, whatnot. So he was paralyzed from the waist down for, a pretty long time. So it was just my mother, me, my mother, and my sister. And, and I, just kind of, looking back at that young age, seeing how hard she worked, but fast forward to, I was about 13, 14 years old. She went to the hospital. She was a big smoker. A couple months go by, that she passed away.
Oh, sorry.
But as all this is going on, I was consistently going across the street to my neighbor's house. They had 3 kids. They had 1 boy and 2 older girls. Yeah. So I would always going over there, from a young age, from probably 6, 7 years old, before school and whatnot. So they, when all this was going on, they took me in. And my mother officially passed. We had to kind of figure out, custody and different things like that. My father, I guess decided to, come into the picture and try to adopt me. So it was a custody battle. But long story short, the neighbors across the street ended up adopting me. The neighbors across the street they don't look like me. They weren't the same skin color as me. But they took me in. And I think, if you have to pinpoint where it started, where this kind of mindset and all this stuff started, it may have been there. It may have been a combination of, my mother passing away and them taking me in and me realizing, okay, I got, option A and option A. And that's to be successful.
Come on now.
And that's to be successful. And there's, no really
no option. No.
So I think that's where it kind of started for me. So.
I like that, by the way. Tight episode, Steve. Another option. But no. And so let's talk about your transition because so the work ethic was there. the passion was there. When did you start not perfecting your craft, but where did you feel like the originality started for that?
Yeah, I think I'm a learner. I try to be a student of life every single day. From everything. I try to watch things and learn from that. I lived in Las Vegas for 6 years. I always say that the two biggest milestones, was moving to Las Vegas. That's one of my biggest accomplishments. My second biggest accomplishment was moving back to Cleveland. Right? Las Vegas taught me. I mean, you can get. I wouldn't even just say money. You can get money in different ways, but you can be successful in a lot of different ways. And life is what you make it, right?
Come on
there's no, there's nobody stopping me from getting on a plane and going to Las Vegas tonight,
right?
Besides me,
right?
And obviously my schedule. And I guess when I realized that that's a possibility and anything is possible, then I started asking myself, why can't I? Why can't I have what that person has? Why can't I have that other person has? And then you start asking yourself, well, how are you going to get that? And ultimately, once you start to realize, like, hey, listen, this is, regardless of my skin color, regardless of where I'm from, regardless of all this, like, I can have what that person has. And then you just make that decision. When you wake up every single morning, you're looking at the person, looking at the person in the mirror, what type of person you want to be today. So, yeah, ultimately it was just it's a combination of a lot of things. I try to stay motivated and keep educational things in my head. Big Eric Thomas fan.
Shout out to Eric Thomas, man, the GOAT.
He's his if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe.
Come on now.
I mean, that was probably, I think that was something where it really kind of started to change my life. When I listened to that. Like, man, he's on to something. He talked about the guru and everything like that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I definitely want to be different. I definitely want to do something different. So
yeah,
I think he's definitely impacted my life. I was able to meet him in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's the stuff I'm talking about, man.
A couple years ago, and that was a cool experience.
That's what's up. So, because I was gonna ask you, like, what would you say was your biggest inspiration? And thank you for saying. Was there any other inspirations when you started out?
It's a combination of a lot of things, right? So again, I realize, how hard, as you get older, you realize what your parents sacrificed, what they did for you. You know what I mean? What am I? And let me kind of rephrase, that when I talk about my parents, I'm talking about, my adopted parents, right? Who adopted me. I realize how hard. Also, my mother, my biological mother, what she did for me, just as a single mother. And, as a 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old, you don't realize that stuff.
Right.
You don't realize how hard life is until you, until you get older.
Until you get older, right.
And, I'm grateful, and nobody ever wants anything. They don't want anything, out of me besides, for me to be successful. But, I kind of wake up every single day with a chip on my shoulder, like I have to pay them back, and I, try to pay them back with, being successful.
No, that's good, man. That's good. Okay, so let's talk about the beginning stage, because, like, I see you. I seen the magic you work.
Yeah.
Let's talk about when you first started, because I think a lot of people understand you're not going to be successful when you first start.
Correct.
Let's talk about when you first started. What were some of the growing pains? What were some of the obstacles you had to overcome?
Yeah, and I'll talk about kind of the street interview stuff that I do when I kind of first got started. It was one of those things where it was a gradual process, right? I ordered the ring microphone. I had microphones, I had the ring light. Just going on YouTube, just like, hey, how do I what do I do for street interviews, right? And it was literally just a learning process along the whole entire way. And so when the process first got started, it was literally I went to Ohio City. And my first interview ever, I'm just going to ask people what motivates them. I'm just going to kind of try to get into that mindset role of, what motivates people. And I will say the interviewing part wasn't necessarily what made me nervous, because, when I lived in Las Vegas, I worked at a nightclub, and all I did was hand out, nightclub passes. Hey, do you want to come to the nightclub tonight? So, hear and know, it was, very, customary, in that field.
You're used to that.
Correct. So that transition to, hey, do you want to, do a street interview, and hear and know, it was easy. So I think what it was for me was putting out the right product, and also too, just I didn't want to offend anybody. I didn't want to, do anything that may be a negative influence on someone's life. I post something and all of a sudden, hey, I got fired because of
Yeah.
So that was kind of running through my head a lot. But I obviously overcame that, and I always say once you get in that kind of that mode and you get going, right? That momentum. Once you get that momentum, you know what I mean? It's hard to stop it. And it's funny too, because once I get in the zone, once I'm interviewing people, I just don't want to stop. It's like an adrenaline rush. It's a high. You know what I mean? You just want to keep going and keep going and keep going.
That's real.
And I think too, like a lot of everybody can probably associate that, because when they come up with an idea or they come up with something, right, and they realize like, okay, this is actually real.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to start an Amazon business, right? You get your first sale, it's like, oh my God, the sky's the limit. You know? I just think I have that, kind of thinking probably a lot more than the average person.
Because it goes from conception to actual reality.
Correct.
And that's the beautiful. That's you're right. It's like a rush.
100%, right? And I think a lot of people. Speaking for you too. I mean, this. It's funny because how many people want to do a podcast, right? And how many people come up to me and, oh my, I want to start a podcast, this and that, and I'll check back on them. But I know that's probably not going to be into fruition. So, I mean, commend yourself for even putting this, because again, like this was an idea at one point, right? And obviously this was an idea. Like, hey, listen, I'm going to put this into reality. And I don't think a lot of people realize like how important your mindset is, because again, with a podcast, right? Like, there's no books on how to podcast, right? I'm sure you don't have a teacher calling you saying, hey, did you get your podcast in today? So and I think that's what separates a lot of people is your will to win. At the end of the day, you either want it or you don't. And you either go after it or you don't. There's opportunities out there for everyone. There's nothing stopping somebody else from starting a podcast like this, right? But it's their own worst enemy.
Your own worst enemy. No, absolutely, bro. Because I probably could have started this podcast a whole lot sooner if it wasn't for the negative thoughts or the thought like, okay, there are plenty of podcasts who doing what we're doing. Wrong.
Yeah.
What you have, someone needs, and I realize there's an audience for anything. I seen a podcast where literally the guy just flips a coin.
Yeah.
Heads or tails, and that's the whole podcast. And he gets views.
Oh yeah.
And it just goes to show you there's an audience. So don't minimize the fact that there is someone who needs what you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's whatever industry, whatever you do, there's someone who needs what you got. So don't minimize it.
No, 100%. And understand too, right? Like, especially with content, we're all learning, right?
Facts,
like there's no secret sauce to this, right? Like, again, there's no university, to my understanding, there's no college that's teaching how to be a YouTuber, right? Professional YouTuber.
Yeah.
How to create content. So don't get me wrong, there's gurus on the internet, different things like that. But so we're still in the beginning stages of it. But the nice thing about this is you don't have to be good. You just have to be first, right? I'm gonna say that again. I'm gonna say that again.
That's
right?
good, man.
When it comes to content, you don't got to be good. You just got to be first, right? So again, like the dude flipping coins, again, it doesn't have to be good. He just has to be first.
I gotta be first.
And become a student of your craft with whatever you're trying to do. And like I said, I watch YouTube differently now. I'm taking a class right now to kind of teach me how to be a better creator. This is from someone who's has some very, very high level clients, and I'm learning to be a student and really understanding, the YouTube and, the viewer and different things like that. And it really opens up my eyes. But, I think the best advice, I could give anyone is just get started, right? What's the best content is content, literally, right? And just be yourself. Organic content is always good, but there's so many people who, I just want to get started, but I just don't know how to post. That's how you get started. Well, it's not perfect. Trust me, post. Go back to my videos, that I first started.
Ones, the first ones, man.
They're way different than what I have now. So, way different than what I have now.
No, and I love how you said it, because, it is like anything you do. It's like when you first do any sport, any activity, you're going to be very crappy before you first start.
Correct.
But the more you do it, the more you... it's funny, because I remember the first time we recorded, I can't tell how many times I forgot to record.
Yeah.
And I'd be midway in the interview, I'm like, oh man, the light's not going on, right? And it's like, what? You know, and it's the little mistakes that, like you said, there's no manual on how to do this, right?
Correct.
But now we have, I'm not saying checklist, but we got so good, we know, check the audio, check the lights, check these things, because it's like, it's something about when you do something wrong, you don't want to make the same mistakes again.
Correct, exactly. My one of my biggest interviews, actually, I was able to interview the Cleveland Monsters. It's a professional hockey team here in Cleveland. So I was able to interview two of the guys, and it was a lot that again, I had to go. It was at Rocket Mortgage, and they were doing a fan appreciation night or something along those lines. So I went to essentially down to ice level, and it was. I always say, when you get off the elevator and it's quiet, at a sporting event, you're you made it in life, because that's usually some sort of suite or something along those lines, right?
I like that.
So, but I got down there, got to ice level, the guys came out, recorded everything, got back, to look at the audio, and I had no audio. The audio didn't work. So
I'm gonna laugh because
no. I mean, I'm sure you probably had a similar
that's
situation,
happened.
right?
That has happened.
And creators, who watch this probably had a similar situation to that.
The heart.
Yeah, too, right? So it was at that moment, I literally went back to my car, right? I went back to my car. I never forget this. I may even recorded myself, with a video. I said, all right, Darren, you got two options here. You're either going to take this serious, or you're just going to stop right now. So after that, I ordered 2 more microphones. I ordered like 2 more microphones, better microphones. And I just practiced in my room to make sure that, just set everything up. Okay, how can I mess this up? This and that. I did have a mishap because I just ordered new microphones a couple weeks ago. I did have a mishap a couple weeks ago, but again, I got that situated. But for the most part, now I don't run into that situation again. I have checks and balances on to make sure that doesn't happen.
No, bro. Like I said, it's something about when you I laugh because it's happened to me so many times. And it be the interview like, this is gonna be the one to go viral, and then
Yep. Oh yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I don't know about if it's ever happened to you, but we've had interviews where the original or not the very first one was just so fired, but we try to redo it, the magic isn't the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and I always tell people too, like whenever you're doing anything, listen, just record too long. So listen, you can never recreate that same situation.
You cannot, right? Bro. It's
you can't let's just say whatever battery dies, whatever. You're like, okay, hey, come back, tomorrow. I'm gonna wear the same exact thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna wear the same exact thing, and you'll never be able to recreate that moment.
Yeah,
so,
bro.
Record everything you can. And again, you can edit it out. I always say just like in. Building a house, right? You can if you cut off too little, that's good. But if you cut off too much, you can't put it back.
Yeah, that's good. I love that right there. That's good right there, man. No. Yeah. So okay, let me ask you this. So what do you say to the person who wants to figure out how to get certain guests on your podcast? Because one question I'm always asked, like, how do we get you? Like people ask, like, how do you get the people you got on your podcast? And I tell them a couple of different things, but I want to know, how do you get your guests on your podcast?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a lot of it just listen, just reach out to people, right? Just don't be afraid. At the end of the day, worst case scenario, somebody says no. I mean, you look at a lot of some of the Cleveland's well-known people. I'm in their DMs, right? Like I've reached out to them for interviews. I've reached out to them. Worst case scenario, they don't say anything. I made a post about LeBron. I've had the presence of had the opportunity to be in LeBron's presence a lot.
Yeah.
I saw him at Marquee years ago when we won the 2016. NBA championship, and then saw him in Cleveland a couple times, and again, he's walked right past me, and I don't take that as a insult or he's arrogant or this and that. I take that as, Darren, you're not in the position to meet that man yet.
Bro.
Like, we're talking about LeBron, we're talking about the best basketball player in the arguably to ever play.
Hands down.
I'm not going to go down that path. You know what I mean? But arguably the best basketball player to ever play the game, and he's the best basketball player right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not in a position, successfully to meet him yet.
Not yet, though.
You know what I mean? So listen, I'll be honest. He played. I went to Ohio State, the Ohio State-Michigan game, and then my girlfriend. We drove back. I live downtown, so we drove back and went to the Lakers game same night. And then one of the hotels that they stay at just happened to be in my building or whatnot. So I stood outside for like 2 hours and waited for him. Not too many people in the world I would do that for. But for him I did. And again, and I saw him walk in, walk out. I was the only one left. I said, hey LeBron, please, I do anything for a photo. And he walked right past me. Again, I don't get upset. That just means, Darren, you need to work harder.
Come on, man.
To get into the same room to get on this level.
Come on, bro.
So
And bro, I had the same mentality. Like, I don't get offended. Like you said, I do the same exact thing. Hey, you'll be surprised. My DMs is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But you right, and my thing is it says to me, all right, you gotta work harder. You gotta do more interviews. You gotta keep going.
That's it.
Keep being consistent.
Listen. Deion Sanders has the best quote. He has the best quote. It's a viral video right now that's going around. I forget, he was on a panel or something. Mm-hmm. He said, the light isn't on you, but keep making plays. Come on. Your sales, your numbers may not be what your friend is doing, but keep making plays.
Keep making plays.
That's it. You know, and that's it. And your day will come.
You
know what I mean? So you never know who's watching. You know, and I kind of have a mental thing in my head that although nobody's watching me, I believe that my niece and my nephews, you know, are standing right next to me right now. You know, so when I'm at home, man, I need to edit this video. You know, I need to, you know, do some research on YouTube. I need to do this. You know, I don't get into that mindset of I'm gonna do it tomorrow. You know, I try to get it done tonight. I mean, you know, I go to sleep tired every single night, and I know that. Okay, of course, right? But no, there's a lot of people who, you know, well, I'm gonna go to bed because there's nothing else to do. Trust me, I'm gonna find something to do.
Come on.
I'm constantly, you know, and I'm a real estate investor. You know, so I, you know, love fixing things. You know, I do all my, you know, handiwork.
Nice.
So I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, I'm on all this stuff. I mean, I try to learn something new every single day, whether it's how to change a tire, whether it's, you know, how to put on windshield wipers, you know, whether it's, you know, last night I was just researching, you know, how to stop a leaking tub, you know, sink, you know, faucet, but tub spout. But I'm a student to life.
Yeah.
I love constantly learning. You know, and I, you know, look at things, research things. Probably gonna, you know, the light that they have here. I'm gonna look at, you know, okay, what does that look like? You know, how can that enhance, you know, my experience, you know, for you know, for my, you know, video stuff. So, just, you know, be observant. You know, be observant to, you know, to you know, life and you know, again, never stop learning. Just because, you know, again, be a student to life. You know, always be curious and always be asking questions.
That is a great quote, bro. And like my thing is like with you, like, I love being surrounded with people who are doing it, who are doing their thing, you know? Because one, it keeps me encouraged and it keeps me, it challenges me, but also it's just let me know I gotta keep going. I have to, well, and I don't know, Deion said there was someone just talking about the energy around, you know what I'm saying, it encapsulates you or whatnot. So to be around other creators like yourself, to be around other people who are not the best at what they do, but they don't stop. They keep going. Or whatnot. It helps motivate me, man.
Yeah, no, and that's good too. I mean, you know, whenever I go anywhere, big sporting events and everything like that, I take a second, I look around, Cavs games, you know, Guardians games, whatever it is, and then I ask myself, seriously, I look the whole entire crowd, I say, what am I doing different than every single person in here? You have to ask yourself that. If you want to be successful, what do you do? So, mind you, we're in Cleveland, Ohio. This is it. Cleveland, Ohio. This is LA. This is New York. This isn't, you know, Miami. This isn't, you know, one of the major cities, right? And if you have to say to yourself, I'm in, you know, a room with 50,000 people. If I'm not, you know, able to outwork 50,000 people, you know, the 50,000 people in here, how am I going to outwork the, you know, the 100 million people, 1 billion people in America? You know what I mean? So again, you have to think outside the box. That's why it's just, you know, and don't get me wrong, like, if you don't want to be the best, that's fine. I'm not, you know, speaking to, you know, every single day you need to, you know, but if you want that life, if you want the other side, you know, if you want the, you know, I mean, what I want to accomplish and what I want to, you know, give for my friends and my family is, you know, I don't think it's been done before. You know, Mr. Beast is kind of on a different level, but you know, but one thing, like I said, I've said it multiple times, right? Like my goal in real estate is $20,000 passive a month, right? My YouTube goal is $50,000, you know, passive a month. My overall goal is to give away $1,000 a day, right? So, and what I mean by that is I don't want to just come up to somebody on the street and just give them, you know, $1,000. I want to, you know, invest in that person. Yeah. Okay, your goal, your aspirations are to be a chef. Okay, can I pay 3 months of classes? Can I, you know, pay 3 months of rent for somewhere, right? Again, you know, I'm a firm believer in, you know, you give a man a fish, you know, you feed him for a day, but you teach a man a fish, you feed him for life. You know, so, you know, again, that may be unrealistic. People may laugh at, wow, $1,000 a day, why would you give away $1,000 a day? It's a challenge to myself, you know, and I understand the ripple effect of how many lives that could potentially change. You know what I mean? So I got something coming up actually that I'm very excited about, where I'm not going to be giving away $1,000 a day, but I'm actually going to be giving away some money. There's a lot of things actually I
Yeah.
still have to work on. But unfortunately, a mentor of mine who helped me get through high school, and has been really close to me, passed away a couple
Sorry
of
to hear
weeks
that,
ago. Yeah, it was. And he was, it's cool. We, every single time I went to the airport, I would take a photo and ask him, where he's at, and he'd, replicate it and whatnot. But anyway, some things happened, so I'm gonna, end up, buying some real estate and doing some unique things, to at least, A, honor him, and B, kind of, get that path started as far
That's
as,
good.
doing that type of stuff. So, again, one act of kindness a day, you'd be surprised. Whether it's, you see a card out, put it back. You just don't understand the ripple effect, because there could be a little kid in that car you're not even paying attention, who's watching you,
Yeah.
and wants to emulate you. So, again, man, just try to be a nice person. Try to give back. I realize, again, I'm not the most successful person, whatsoever. But I think I've been able to receive maybe more than the average person.
Yeah.
I understand that my platform is starting to grow a little bit more. So I want to use that for good.
That's good, man.
I want to be able to impact people, and I want to be able to help people, in a lot of different, in any way that I can. Just did something with the, Cleveland Monsters, did a video, and to me, that video is going to be, it hits home just because I'm a big hockey,
Yeah.
guy, played in college,
Nice.
And it's more of a kind of a philanthropic video as well too, so that hopefully should be dropping, in the next couple of days. But it's just, I can't, stress enough, just, I don't know, just keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's, I'm just, okay, boom, I'm here. All right, what's next?
Right.
What's next? And maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe I, don't take time to sit back and just kind of realize,
Was you accomplished this far?
yeah,
Yeah.
And I mean, I will say this. So, and I don't, I'm not really an emotional person whatsoever. But after I accomplished the Cleveland Monsters video, it's probably the first time I've cried in years. It's one of those things where, it's something I've been working towards, and it's like, man, everything kind of came to fruition, for me. And it just made me realize, like, okay, you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know, that happened, but then, it probably, 3-4 minutes later, I gathered myself, and it was back to it. Okay, what else can I do? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, that's good, bro. And you know what? I'm the same way, because someone had to tell me, like, I'm the same exact way, because so you're episode 161. So episode 150, we all got together. Like, everyone was part of the crew, the camera people, our producer, all of us got together, and we just got together. We just went back and just thought about our favorite moments, and we all come this far, because we had to realize, like, we'll keep grinding, but we have to understand that what we've done as far is nothing to, like, sneeze at. Like,
No,
we've
not
done
at all.
some things,
No, not at all. That's the thing, man. And I'm sure you know this, but yeah, people would kill to be in your position. You know what I mean?
Right.
People would kill to be able to be in the same room as some of the people you've been able to be in, and
God is good, man.
and just understand the ripple effect of what you're doing here, right? Sometimes we don't really understand the magnitude and the gravity of what we're accomplishing in life, but yeah, understand that. And and I kind of speaking to the audience too, anybody who is looking to just get, I mean, I can't say this enough, but honestly, just get started. And the nice thing is, we're in the age where, for the most part, everything is online.
Yeah.
Right. So you can, for the
I love
most part,
YouTube.
teach yourself. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can teach yourself. I mean, that's kind of how I started my podcast. Right. It's trial and error.
Yeah.
But just like, don't be afraid. But yeah, I think I'm a victim of it too. Where, okay, and I look at, so I'm landlord now, and real estate investor, and able to have I have 10 doors right now.
Nice.
That I own. I years ago I looked at that and said, man, if I had 10, I'm retiring, right? Then you get to 10, it's like, all right, no, I gotta get to 60.
Yeah.
Right? So, but yeah, sometimes I don't live in the moment. I'm always looking for the next thing, and I think that may be just because I see the way that other people live.
Yeah.
And I'm not so much a materialistic person, it's more of just the experiences. I want to create experiences for myself, my family, my friends,
That's good.
and other people. I would love to, take people to, I'm a big Las Vegas guy. I think that every single person, should experience it.
I gotta go to. I've never been to Vegas yet,
Listen,
dude.
I'm telling you, you gotta go. You gotta go.
I gotta go.
But just giving people that experience on going and giving people the cruise experience. I'm just a big component of that, and just most importantly, making people realize what their actual potential is in life.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people don't realize that what you're actually capable of and what you can accomplish. Again, you just need the right people in your circle, and if you don't have the right people in your circle, watch the people online, who talk like that, who move like that, I mean, it's a whole thing. I'm tunnel vision. I was a big component, into going into things, looking at the negative, and now it's just, hey, what's the best case scenario that can happen here?
Come on now.
You know what I mean?
That's a gem right there,
and that's,
man.
you can look at, okay, YouTube, and what is it? 95% of creators fail. Okay, what about that 5%?
Yeah.
Let's focus on that 5%.
Come on now.
What does that 5% lifestyle look like? So you're telling my man just did a video in Miami, and then he's in, San Diego, and he's hanging around with this person and that person, that person, that person. That's the stuff that I focus on. I don't focus on the 95% of that fail. Because again, it's you. You hold yourself accountable. Again, like. YouTube's not, the nice thing is YouTube's not going to be like, hey, we paid you $50,000 this month, we're cap you for the month. Like, YouTube's like, let's pay you $1 million a month. For me to take a step back, like, wait a minute, YouTube's going to pay me what?
Yeah.
Like, they're willing to pay me $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a month. Like, listen, I'm from Elyria, Ohio, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm from Elyria, Ohio. Like, I'm adopted. Like, I remember Thanksgiving where, we, I don't know who dropped it off, but thank God somebody dropped off a turkey because we weren't gonna have like, come on, man, like so you're gonna tell me like I just have to continue what I'm doing or work harder, just a little bit harder, like it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. No, and I was in church. The pastor said something real. He said, if you ever need motivation, keep going. Just look at your worst moment or what you thought was your worst moment. And look how you got past that, and just keep going.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, 100%.
That's good, man.
I think it's to take a step back and realize where you where you came from, but also realize where you can go, and that's huge. And I think a lot of people need to. I mean, it's just again like we're all human beings. I mean, look at the world that we've created. Just from two hands. I mean, people. We got planes going across countries. I can. DM somebody. In China right now.
Yeah.
Like, and they'll get that message, right? Like, I mean, we are all capable of earth-shattering things. It's just a matter of if you just want to apply yourself,
That's good,
and do it. Like I said, the difference between a billionaire and and the average everyday person is they implemented that idea.
Absolutely.
Implemented that idea.
They started somewhere. They started. No, that's good. Though.
And what people don't understand is YouTube started as a dating site. You know what I mean?
I did not know that.
YouTube started as a dating site. Yeah. So it started as a dating site, and then from there they were uploading videos to like personalities, realized that the videos were doing well, and implemented. And then just went with that, right? So Amazon started as just a book site, right? They just were shipping books. So if you notice, right, like everybody just, hey, I want to get into YouTube and I want to do what Mr. Beast does. You'll never be able to replicate Mr. Beast. I can tell you this much: you'll never be able to work as hard as Mr. Beast because his work ethic is something else. But the most important thing is, and the same thing with me. Like I got started with street interviews. I was asking people what motivates them. Well, I realized that my audience doesn't necessarily resonate with that sort of stuff. They resonate with the financial literacy stuff. So again, I made a pivot, right?
I was going to ask you that too. So that's great.
Yeah. So I made a pivot, and I still talk about that stuff a lot. But a lot of the stuff now that I'm going into is financial literacy. And a lot of my videos, I'm never trying to make somebody look stupid, right? My question that I asked, that I posted today was, would you rather have $15 million or 8 cents doubled over 30 days? And mindset is take the 15 million, right? But actually the 8 cents double ended up being 80 million plus, right? But my goal is never to like, laugh at that person and they're not smart, right? The average person is going to get that, right?
Right.
That's high level math. But what I want people to understand is time versus money. My biggest thing is time freedom. If you understand what I said about the $50,000 a month passive, right? I didn't say I want to work at a job for $50,000. I said I want to make $50,000 passive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, a lot of that stuff is time, versus money. I'm trying to replace money for time. So, obviously the more rental properties I get, the more time I have. And, I'll give a perfect example, right? So if I said, hey, you give me $1, right, and I'll pay you a penny a day for the rest of your life, the average person probably wouldn't go for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how about this? If you gave me $10, right, and I paid you 10 cents for the rest of your life, you probably wouldn't go for that, right? Because now again, over time, obviously,
right.
that 10 cents is gonna kill that $10.
Right.
But people don't think that way.
It's an investment, though.
Correct. You're right. So now you times that. Let's just call it 1,000, right?
Yeah.
So $1,000, but I give you $10 a day. Would you take that?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then you times that, by what about 10,000? $100 a day. So you just got to figure out that. So, and that's the thing with real estate investing. It's the same exact concept.
Yeah.
20,000. Okay. So I put $25,000 on investment property.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, that's $25,000. Here's what I can get to it. Okay, but you're paying yourself $500, a month for the rest of your life.
Come on, bro.
Okay, so now you put $100,000 in. Now that's $2,000. So eventually you're gonna hit that number that makes sense for you.
Yeah.
And maybe that number is 5,000. Maybe that number is 2,000. My number is 20,000. So I probably have to put, dang near.
Nah, you good, bro.
$1 million into the real estate market of liquid cash. 800,000, $1 million to get 20,000. Now the average person is like, well, I'll just take the $1 million, right? But what people don't understand is I can pass that on to my kids, and my kids can pass it on to my kids.
That's good.
I mean, just think about it. Your kids or whoever, niece and nephew. I mean, they start out making $4,000 or $5,000 dollars a month off rip, regardless. It just goes into their bank account. I mean, it's very hard for them not to be successful.
Exactly, bro. And I feel like even with podcasting, like the time you put into your podcast, you might see initial returns initially, but over time, perfect example, Earning Leisure. They're a perfect example of someone who started a podcast and it paid off dividends later on or whatnot. And I feel like even in this space, same concept. You put the time in, and people don't understand what podcasting is. It is time consuming.
Oh, it's very time consuming.
The editing, the artwork, the putting together, right?
100%.
But I feel like a year from now, this is year 2 for us. I know. I'm very confident in the fact that a year, maybe even 2, is going to pay off.
Yeah, definitely.
And forever after that, because
100%.
that's the great thing about podcasting. Like these things will be on YouTube forever, platforms forever. That someone can go back and will get paid for.
Exactly. And people don't understand. YouTube pays you monthly for your views, right? So you hit 1 million, views, in that month. Like I just say, you hit 1 million views that month. Yeah, YouTube's going to pay you that. But outside of that, they continue to pay you, right? Like that video, it may not be as viral, but you still get that. And here's also the sweet part that I'm sure you know about too. Like, we still don't really know the secret sauce to why things go, right? Like, I've had videos that sat dormant for 5 months and boom, all of a sudden, just took off, right?
Man, time out, because you ain't never lied. That happens to me quite often. I'm like, what was it about that video that took off? But once again, like climate, timing, it's all these things, keywords, it's just, you 100%. Don't know.
100%. And, Mr. Beast talks about it a lot where, changing thumbnails. These are for long form videos, but changing thumbnails and changing, like you said, keywords in the back end and different things like that. There's a lot of different things you do, and just we are in the infancy stages of creators and social media and whatnot. I mean, we haven't got to the point where these big the AT&Ts, the the Verizons, have really started paying creators to create content for them. Because guess what? You have a targeted audience. Obviously, I have a big focus on Cleveland. If you notice, anytime I'm doing, any sort of, content stuff, I'm wearing a Cleveland hat. Yeah. I do that purposely. Obviously, I do that purposely because, I'm very proud of my city. I'm very proud to be from Cleveland. I'm in LA wearing a Cleveland hat. I'm in, Boston wearing a Cleveland hat. Every single time I'm here, I'm wearing a Cleveland hat. So I'm very proud of Cleveland. But I do that on purpose because I'm trying to build that brand, for Cleveland and brand myself as that Cleveland content creator.
That's good.
And also too, for branding. So now, when I pitch, a brand, it said, hey, I have, 50,000 unique, followers or visitors specifically from Cleveland. So if you're a tech startup, you're some sort of startup company, who wants to brand yourself in Cleveland, I'm that guy. And don't get me wrong, I obviously target, other places, but, I always wear, some sort of Cleveland hat.
That's good, bro. That's good. So, okay, let me ask you this. What do you feel like the biggest misconception when it comes to, one, creating a podcast and just being a podcast overall? Because I know what my opinion, but I want to ask you what do you feel like those are.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the it's easy to do, right? It's easy to do. It's not. It's something that I struggle with. From a podcast, standpoint is I guess getting guests. That's something I could definitely do a better job of. And B, like the editing. What I don't really edit it too often. I mean, the most edit I do, is literally when I push the button. So I edit myself out from reaching over and pushing that, and then I edit myself out from pushing it again. So there's a lot of different ways that I could edit it better. But I think that's definitely a misconception of like hey, podcasts are easy because the barrier to entry for a podcast is for most people, it's simple, right? Like, hey, I get on Buzzsprout or whatever podcast platform they want to you just post things, right?
Yeah.
But now you have to have entertaining content because what you find entertaining and what the audience find entertaining could be two totally different things. You know what I mean? And I think too, like branding too. I this is especially with YouTube, right? I heard this before. It takes a lifetime to build a reputation and 5 minutes to destroy it, right? So
that's a bar, man.
So with a lot of that stuff, right, especially with content, right, everybody's always pushing the envelope. They want to do something that's never been done before. And that's and now I'm just I'm not saying I'm embarrassed with any of the content that I do, but I am kind of embarrassed to I guess quote unquote call myself a content critic because I see some of the stuff that people are doing. I'm seeing people go on escalators and rub, women's faces.
Right.
And I'm seeing,
pushing the envelope, man. It's
yeah,
crazy.
right. I saw a content creator where, he filmed himself where he asked, a homeless person, what do you want to eat? Went and got that, ate it in front of him, threw it on the ground and something along those lines, right? So, I hate to see that. And to be honest, I haven't really had that, encounter with any, content creator like that before, but to be honest, like I'm the type of person that would say something to him, like, hey, listen, like, again, if that works for you, but I'll be honest, like I don't respect the type of content that you put out, and I'll say that to somebody's face, what I mean? Because again, like I don't want that negative conversation because somebody does something stupid in LA, right? Like that could affect me in Cleveland, you know what I mean? When I'm trying to do a shoot interview, then I get put in that, I get put in that category of well, you just like them. So that's just it's something I don't like to see. Again, I understand. First, but I think there's a line, that you definitely don't want to cross.
A code of ethics, you guys.
Correct, 100%.
Absolutely, no. I agree 100% because if your content is at the expense of others, I don't think that's that's content that's just demoralizing. You ask me.
Correct. I agree. And don't get me wrong. Like some of the there's some creators who do some some unique things that get a lot of views. Again, when you ask somebody a question, they they respond back, with something that I probably wouldn't say in public, or I wouldn't say, to somebody, but they say it, right? Like, again, that's the type of content that works for that creator. That type of stuff, yeah, okay. Again, the people are responding. It's just when people don't give you consent, to either film them or people don't give you consent, to do things to them, I think that's where we, kind of we draw the line. So where the line needs to be drawn.
No, absolutely, bro.
So.
No, and you're right. And it goes back to what we were saying earlier. There's an audience for any and everybody.
Correct.
There's someone who's going to watch it. Now,
Correct.
Don't get me wrong.
Correct.
But once again, when you got to do it expense of someone else's, hopes, dreams, and aspirations, that's never good. So yeah, no, I agree when you said there should be a code of ethics, and if you're gonna create content, so no.
Yeah, for sure.
So another question for you, my friend, and I feel like this is the most important question. So here at the Pull Up Experience, anyone who knows, we have staple questions, and I love these questions because one, I put emphasis on their signature just like you, so do I. And I like to ask these questions because everyone gives a unique answer. So this is my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
So the question I like to ask everyone is, unfortunately, and I'm pretty sure being from Cleveland, going to Las Vegas, and come back to Cleveland, I don't know if you heard this, but have you gone to places and heard that Cleveland is not or how you felt that Cleveland is not a place where collaboration happens too often?
100%.
So my question to you, how do you feel like we can change that dynamic or change that stigma for our city?
Yeah, and I think, this is kind of, again, why I wear the Cleveland hat, and I always, try to talk about Cleveland, whenever I'm doing, I'm from Cleveland, this and that. I think, again, it's not, competition, it's collaboration, right?
Come on, bro. I usually got my bell. I don't have it tonight. It's all bad. That's a bar right there, man. That's real.
But yeah, no competition, no collaboration. So I've been able to do stuff with I think some of the top creators in the city. Suryat, he does a lot of. What he just accomplished, man. I think that's not getting enough recognition. But he went to every single state capital. To my understanding, he went to Hawaii and Alaska as well. He went to every single state capital in like 30 days.
Nice.
And he raised money for, I forget specifically what he was raising money for, but, again, and not competition, not collaboration, not competition, but collaboration. But I think, just coming together and working, collectively as a group, I try to, this is my third podcast that I've been on.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah, of course. But, again, I try to, help out as much as I can.
Yeah.
I try to, do what I can. I have a potential, not potential, I have a series coming out, where I'm going to, start some other interviews with business owners and successful business people,
Nice.
In and around Cleveland. So, I guess one thing I could do is, again, if a creator, as long as it's on par for, what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But, I think if a creator, wants to, reach out to you, and wants to do something with you, I take it as a compliment. And I'll be honest, right? Like, there may be some people who have reached out to me and DM me and, hey, we should, do some stuff together. Again, there's certain things that, I think ethically, right, that, I still do. And now, like, I'm just partnered with this, pretty big app company, and I do stuff with, Cleveland Vibes, right? So, like...
Shout out Cleveland Vibes, by the way.
Yeah. So, one video, that's it.
That's all it takes?
And it could wipe out everything I've done. So, and, unfortunately, people associate you with certain people, right? So, something happens where, okay, well, I had nothing to do with it, but, well, you associate with that person, you know what I mean? So, I try to, be mindful of that, but I think collectively just, working together, I've even, thought about the idea of doing, some sort of content creator charity event, softball game, or different things
That's
like
dope.
that. It's been done before, but,
That's dope.
Again, we, there's just so much talent in and around the city.
Absolutely, bro.
From, I want to say Laney in the Land to, I could go on.
Yeah.
I'm a student to this, right? I don't look at it as a competition. I look at it as, hey, they're doing well. I have my eyes on them, and I want to, hopefully do something, with them. And again, the people who don't get back to me, again, I got to keep working.
Hey, listen.
I wasn't on the radar. So.
Listen, bro, and I promise you, I'm the same way. I just think of myself. We got to work just a little bit harder.
Yeah, that's it.
That's to get on that radar. No, bro, I agree 100%. Okay, let me ask. So this is another question I like to ask, and it's my favorite question because I was watching a Nipsey Hussle interview, and he talking about things he wanted to accomplish, and as we all know, rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle and his family. But he exceeded the things he wanted to accomplish and then some, right? So the question I want to ask you, what is the legacy you're going to leave behind as Darian Thomas, but then everything that's associated with you, with your businesses, with your podcast and everything, what legacy you want to leave behind in that aspect also?
I love that. I love that. I mean, I really love that question. I've never been asked that before.
So. I try, man. I try.
I love that. I love that. So, here's, ultimately, I'll kind of take a step back. What I want people to know is Darian Thomas is, I'm a hardworking person, and, I want to see the best in everyone. For the most part, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, as to, if you're a good person or not. But I assume that everybody is a good person.
Yeah.
But the legacy I honestly want to live, man, it's just the world can be an amazing place. I've been able to, go and see things. My next goal is to hit all 50 states. But my legacy I just want to leave behind is enjoy life. Work hard and work hard for the things that you think you deserve. Try to take care of, your friends and family, and try to create, experiences with your friends and family as much as possible. And that's why I'm kind of doing a lot of this stuff, because I, need to be a little bit more present, with my nieces and nephews. I don't have any children right now, but I want to be a little bit more present. And, I see as every single accomplishment I make is kind of opening that door, for me to be more present in their life, and spend a lot more time with, friends and family. But yeah, that legacy is that, I want to leave a real estate, portfolio for them, but I want them to focus on their goals. So right now I'm trying to build what I can, myself, and then I'm going to start bringing people in place to take care of that. So, when my time comes, literally, I just want money transferring to them, and with them understanding that I want you to use this, in order to get better. This isn't just to, stay on this level here. This is to get here, so market yourself or use it for school, use it for whatever it is, but I want you to use this to better yourself every single day, 1% better.
That's good, bro. And that's a great legacy, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And I know you kind of alluded to this earlier, but what are some projects that and by the way, anyone we on the podcast, let me know. We gonna get them on yours, okay? But what are some projects you got working on in the future that you're working on?
Yeah, so I kind of, so one video, I'm actually going to Louisiana, New Orleans, Bixby, I forget, Bixby, and then Mobile, Alabama, Mississippi, Bixby, Mississippi, and then Mobile, Alabama, next week. Actually, so I'm going to be gone for hitting 3 states in 4 days. So I'm going to be, doing some interviews there.
Yeah.
That project is going to be cool. Then I got a project that I know has never been done before. That I'm there. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts with this project, but that I'm hoping to do that next summer. It's essentially where either way I'm gonna showcase Cleveland. We're gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna showcase. I'm gonna showcase Cleveland. But outside of that, just kind of working with what I want to do is have that conversation about money. And sometimes we look at oh my God, that person's a millionaire. I'll never be able to do that. Again, that person just made a couple different decisions than the average person did. They
That's
just
good.
So I really want to humanize that, and especially in Cleveland. A millionaire in Cleveland is just almost unheard of. Well, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of millionaires in Cleveland. We just, we're not programmed to that. When we see a Ferrari driving down the street, it's oh my God, everybody's got to stop and look. But you go to Las Vegas, you go to Miami, it's every other car. You go to LA. I kid you not. It's just everybody's got a range out there. That's like that's the Chevy Equinox out here. So it's understanding, right? Like anything's possible. And you just need to get your mind. And I can't stress mindset. I firmly believe, and I've said this before, and I continue to say it again, every single room, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but every single room that I walk in, I believe I'm the hardest working person there. Now, again, is that true? I don't know, right?
Yeah, but the mindset you have.
If you don't believe that, you know what I mean? Like, I firmly believe, like, I'm one of the hardest working people in Cleveland. Now, again, is that true? I don't know, right? I don't know what people do behind closed doors. But for the most part, you have to, train your mind to think that way.
That's
I
good.
already think, I'm making $20,000 a month, right? My mindset is already thinking that way. You know what I mean?
That's good.
you know, and I think people value money differently, and you got to look at money as a tool. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes we look at it as, okay, well, you know, $20,000. Here's what I can get, you know, with it. It's like, okay, $20,000. How can I make, you know, how can I make this last for longer? What can I invest in?
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, it's just, you know, that's something too where it's one thing you can't teach is mindset. Unfortunately, you can't teach hard work. You can't teach, you know, a lot of that stuff, but you can start to train your mind, you know, into thinking that way.
That's good.
You know, so you know, surround yourself with people who, you know, you're lesser than, and you'd be surprised, and look at the conversations and look at how they spend money. You know, I mean, you know, shoot, man, I just, you know, $50 on this, and that. It's like, listen, somebody just, you know, spent, you know, $500 on, you know, just Cavs tickets, you know, for you know, for the game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people are. It's, you know, you gotta look at. You know, it's again, money's very, very important, right? But look at money as a tool. You know, money is a tool in order to, you know, get you further in life. And that's one thing that, you know, I, you know, firmly believe. Like, okay, this, you know, we're gonna be, you know, New Year's is coming up, spending $1,200 on the table, right? Like, wow, that's stupid. But again, the connections, right?
Yeah.
That you know, I'm making, you know, with that, because who I'm going through and who I'm going to talk to, and whatnot.
That's
like,
good.
you got to, you know, that could be a teardrop, you know, in a bucket.
Yeah.
You know, in comparison to
That's an investment.
That's it, man. You know what I mean? And it's just scared money don't make money. So
Yeah, I like that, man. That's good stuff right there. No, that's good stuff. And I mean, and this is, I feel like, and you let me know. Any interview, any great podcast, I feel like there should be key takeaways.
correct.
And you've been dropping gems left and right, bro. So what do you feel like, what are 3 takeaways someone should be watching, some young man, some young ladies watching this, that they should take away from tonight's interview?
Yeah, I mean, understand it's never too late to get started. I don't care if
That's-
you're 20 years old, I don't care if you're 15 years old.
Drop bomb. I need bomb dropping, man.
And most importantly, it's not only never too late to get started, but, you know, whatever you think you need to get started, you have it, right? Because more than likely you watch it from a cell phone, right? And if you watch it from a cell phone, that's all you need.
That's all you
right?
need.
I mean, you know, okay, a cell phone and a mic stand. So, you know, if you want to, you know, start a podcast, you want to start content, you know, if you want to start doing whatever, I mean, you know, and don't get discouraged. I mean, I listen. I'm still, you know, waiting for that, you know, quote unquote big break. You know, I'm you know, a very, very, you know, low fish on the totem pole, and I will say this. You know, I had, you know, one of the coolest experiences, you know, of my life. You know, was, you know, I was walking out of a restaurant, and, you know, I noticed someone was looking at me. It was, you know, I know him from somewhere. He came up to me and said, "Hey, man, I just want to let you know, I watch, you know, a lot of your YouTube
That's
videos.
dope, bro.
Can we take a photo?"
That's dope.
You know, so it's funny, you know, we took a photo with him, and then I ended up taking a photo after that to experience. But that was that moment in my life that, okay, you're doing something right. You know what I mean? Because you see the views, right? Like, oh, this video did, you know, 6 million, this video, you know, but again, like, you still walking down the street, and you know what I mean, and nobody, you know, stop you or anything like that, you know, so, but, you know, that's one key takeaway is you know, just get started, right? Because, you know, you never know when it's going to take off. You know, it could be the first video, it could be the 1,000th video, you never know. You know, definitely another key takeaway is your mindset, right? Don't focus on the negative, because if you focus on the negative, again, if you look for dirt, you're always going to find dirt, right? But don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. So, you know, look at, you know, what's the best outcome that can come, you know, from this, you know, whether it's, and again, this is going to be from a business standpoint too. Hey, I want to start that business, this and that. So look at the positives. How can your life change? You know, realize what you're capable of and what it is. I mean, it just, you know, again, I got tired of being unsuccessful. I got tired of not being able to do the things that I want to do. And I just decided one day, hey, listen, you know, one day, you know, it's either one day or day one, and I decided day one. So, you know, I got it. Decided, hey, listen, I'm gonna go out and ask people what motivates them. You know, and the rest is history. So, and I think the last part, you know, is educate yourself. You know, I listen to Audible books. I listen to a book a month. I'm not a big reader, I'll be honest, but I listen to Audible books, and I just
Me too, bro.
constantly,
Me too.
yeah, constantly filling my mind, you know, with just things from real estate, you know, to how to be a better landlord, you know, to how to just be a better person.
That's good.
You know,
Personal development.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%, right? Personal development. It's just something that we just don't think and realize, like, the difference between, you know, 15 minutes. Like, hey, I have 15 minutes. I got so and so cooking. You can literally teach yourself something. You could teach yourself how to how to wire an outlet.
Yeah.
In 15 minutes. That you again, or you're just mindlessly, scrolling through, Facebook or Instagram. You know what I mean? So, just realize that your time, literally is money. But continue to just keep educating yourself and sky's the limit, man. Like I can't stress that enough. Whatever you want to be, whatever you want to do, go do it. And break it down into small goals, right? Again, my goal is $20,000 passive a month. So I have it to like what I'm gonna do tonight to get closer to that goal. That goal is always in my mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, what did I do today to get me closer to that goal? You know what I mean? I break it down. So I can already tell you, I'm gonna go on the internet and I'm looking at 4 units. But before I look at the 4 unit, I gotta get a flip, property. So I'm looking at flip properties. You know what I mean? I gotta reach out to the lender tomorrow. You know what I mean? So all of that encompasses is to get me to that bigger goal, 20,000. So I get my flip property, hopefully flip that, and then buy the 4 unit, which is going to increase, my, cash flow. It's going to get me a little bit closer. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm doing tonight. And I can already tell you what I'm doing as soon as I get here, get out of here. So it's just, it's breaking down those goals into small attainable goals that you can achieve.
That's good, bro. Listen, I hope y'all took notes, because those are good ones right there, man. And listen, man, and I don't know if you do this, but like now you're alumni, by the way. You're now the Pull-Up Experience alumni, by the way, my friend. So we appreciate. We definitely got to have you back on, by the way.
I appreciate that a lot. Appreciate that a lot.
And this is the most important question. The whole podcast. Where can the people learn more about you? Where can they check out your work, your works of art? That's what they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where can they book you? Like, let's say some days, hey, I want him on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where can they learn more, man?
Yeah, so I'm on Darian R Thomas on everything. DARINR THOMAS. On Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to do a collab. And even just hey, what are some successes that have worked for you? And listen, critique my stuff and like, hey, have you ever tried this? Have you ever tried that? Again, I'm a student. I read the comments. I really don't reply back to my comments too much. But I do read the comments and see what people say. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me. Definitely would love to connect.
That's good, man.
In any type of way. So.
And for all you lazy people, it'll be in the show notes, so you don't have to go searching. There's no reason why you shouldn't be reaching out to Darren, okay? Yeah. It will be right there, all right? Yeah. Bro, I appreciate you, man. And once again, this is a collaboration. This is competition. It's collaboration over competition right here in Effective right now.
That's right.
I seen his work. I said, man, I gotta get him on because, like you said, it's great people in our city doing great things. I'm like I said, I'm a student and I'm a admirer and I love it. And I love just hearing their stories, hearing how do they, what makes them do what they do. And thank you for your time today, bro.
No, of course, and I appreciate it. And again, what you're doing is amazing. I mean, and it's funny too because it's definitely a goal of mine. I remember seeing, you doing Jermaine.
Shout out to Jermaine. That's big bro right there.
Yeah, and I remember, and like I said, Jermaine is a beast when it comes to real estate.
Facts,
right?
bro.
And I don't think I ever reached out to you guys, but I said, you know what? Hopefully, because again, you interviewed Jermaine. I saw the other people you interviewed. I'm like, okay, interviewing, pretty much the top people in Cleveland.
Absolutely.
So when you guys reached out, like, hey, I'm like, oh man, like this is, this is serious. Like, man, like this is okay. All right, I am doing something. But yeah, I remember this was probably about a year ago. I forget how long simply it was, but I remember seeing Jermaine. And I said, man, I think it'd be really cool, to be a part of that. But again, I just, again, just wasn't ready. Wasn't there.
No, bro. So, like I seen it. I'm like, man, it's something about our city. Because I love our city. I love Cleveland. I'm Cleveland through and through.
Yeah.
But now I believe we're in a renaissance.
Yeah.
COVID, Thanos snapped us all. Like we're all pursuing our dreams, right? And ever since then, I feel like we have gone through a cycle where we're doing more collaboration, we're doing more creative things, we're coming together.
100%.
And I'm like, man, this is it's like oil. It's like when you see an oil strike.
Yep.
And I'm like, what? And I'm like, it's time for me to get this podcast together and just be able to give a platform to, if you got 5 million followers or 5 followers, you're doing something great in our city. Correct. I want to be able to I want to be able to share that story.
Correct. You never know the ripple effect, and
Man.
who you know, somebody watches it could change their life. Right?
Absolutely, bro. That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I honestly believe, and this is funny, bro. And you gotta let me know. We'll talk about this probably on camera. But the analytics, I look and see our audience, bro. A majority of our audience is not even from Cleveland.
Wow.
And these are people who aren't from our city who are appreciating what our people in our city are doing.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal to me.
Yeah. Exactly.
So no, bro, no.
Yeah, it's so much untapped talent, and too, like, you know, again, kind of going back to, you know, you never know who you're going to affect. I mean, depression's a big thing, right? You know, depression's a real thing. And it's something I don't really talk about too much, and I don't, you know, really, you know, struggle with it or anything like that. But, you know, I want you to realize, like, yeah, you're changing people's lives with this.
Come on, man.
You know,
I appreciate that, man.
You know, you really don't. Also, too, and this is no, you know, knock on anybody else, but usually don't see, you know, two people who look like us, you know, speaking, you know, at a high level like this, right? You know, a lot of it is you know, girls and you know, different things like that, right? But you know, you don't, and I think too, like a lot of people who look like us and you know, our age and or whatever it is, they need to see that type of stuff.
Absolutely,
you know, they need to hear these types of conversations.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You know, so, but again, I'll be honest. I grew up, Elyria. I went to a private school, right? So, my life, it was, you know, it may have been tough, you know, but I was awarded some opportunities that the average person may not have. But also at the same point in time, I think I took advantage of them too.
There we go, bro. And I'm glad you said, because the unfortunate part, a lot of us are handed opportunity or given opportunity in front of us, we don't take advantage of it.
Correct. 100%.
One, we don't have the eyes to see it, or we don't think it's worthy enough.
Correct. Yep.
And yeah, we're breaking that, man.
Yes.
So, no.
100%. And yeah, again, I remember it, you know, like yesterday though. I remember I was watching, you know, watching Jermaine on here. And I said, man, that'd be really cool, you know, to do something like that one day. You know, and it's just, you know, again, you just never know, you know, and just for me to be, you know, kind of sitting here, it's, you know, kind of a surreal moment. So.
No, dude, listen, like I said, I appreciate you once again. From one creator to another, we appreciate what you do, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
And I love how it cycles through, you know what I'm saying? As you quote unquote inspire you inspire me. And like I said, I love your work ethic, man. Like, I'm like, this man, I'm looking, I'm going, you see, I was going, okay, all right. And it's let me know, like, yeah, like, shout out to my boy King Teeth over the King Team Network. His podcast, phenomenal. And like, we'll talk junk to each other, and I think he's on episode like 164. This is episode 161. Yeah. And like tonight, I'm like, I'm catching up, man. You know, but you need that. You need Jordan needed Jordan needed Charles Barkley.
Yep.
Magic needed Larry Bird. It's just you need that. You know what I'm saying?
100%, man. It just and create that persona. You know what I mean? Create that. I mean, you know, listen, Michael Jordan is one of the coldest dudes out there.
Yeah,
man. Know, and that line that he talked about where it was the playoffs and they had lost, and you know, he said that whoever walked past him, it said good game, Mike, but he said it, you know, in a way that was disrespectful to Mike, you know, and Mike just went off the next game.
Yeah.
And they interviewed the guy who they thought said something to Mike, and they said, I didn't even say a word to the man. Come to find out that, you know, Mike made that up. I mean, I do that too.
Yeah.
Listen, I played in a recreational hockey game a couple weeks ago, and it was a game that I'm still mad we lost. And you know, one of the guys that had a really good game, and you know, I don't know if he actually said it, but in my mind, literally, we went through the shake, you know, the hand shake line, you know, and he smirked at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I said, okay, all right, so I got a circle in the calendar. I know what game it is. So
there you go.
You better believe I'm coming for you. So.
No, that's good, man. So listen, man, we gotta do a part 2.
Yes.
We're gonna put on the books. We're gonna do part 2. And man, listen, if you support us, support my man here. You know, we'll have a link, please. You know what I'm saying? We support, we want to be able to support each other. So I thank you once again, my friend.
That, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me. So
next time we gotta pay some bills. And so guys, listen, and like me and Darren talked about earlier, the Pull Up Experience, 161 episodes. We have now put together a course, training, mentorship, whatever you want to call it, to show you, yes you, whether you're a real estate agent, hairstylist, a guy who likes to flip coins, we're going to show you how to create your podcast from conception to monetization. Wow. And it's a 5-week course, and we're dropping it Q1. So use that tax money to your advantage. Wow. We have done, so just like Darren said, we have done all the hard work. We have gone through the hurdles. We have gone through the struggle. We have literally put 20 steps to get you from here to there. And just like back in the day, having a website was essential for your business, just like having social media was essential. We believe having a podcast is essential
100%.
to help grow your brand, to help grow your business, and to help gain followers and influence in whatever industry you're in. So listen, we're showing you from A to Z how to do it. It's a great course, and listen, if you like what we do and you want to be able to do it, get the course. So that's dropping January 1st for the new year, just for you guys. Okay, get that.
Congrats on that too.
Thank you,
I mean,
man.
that's
Thank
huge.
you.
I mean, just to even share your knowledge, because a lot of people don't have knowledge.
Oh,
Just wanna
no,
keep
no,
here.
absolutely.
So you guys want to share, and I cannot stress that enough. I mean, listen, what you guys are doing is amazing.
Thank you, man.
And the fact that you want to share that with
Absolutely.
other people. And I mean, listen, Tiger Woods still has a coach. The
Absolutely.
best at Tom Brady. So, all these guys have
Absolutely.
coaches, right? So, I'm too good. Blah, blah, blah. Trust me, you can always get better. Again, I hired a YouTube coach. I'm not saying I'm good at where I'm at, but I hired a coach.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna still continue to
Absolutely, bro.
to hire a coach. So make sure you guys make sure you guys
Appreciate that, man.
get that, because sky's the limit with the internet. Trust me.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, I'm a real estate agent. One of the things I believe helps me gain leads, that helps me. We had 161 episodes, so 161 guests. Guess who they come to when they want to invest in real estate?
Yeah.
When they have any referrals, they come to me because it helped increase my network. So podcasting is just bigger than just creating content. It's a networking tool also. So we teach all that. We teach you how to leverage your podcast for just more than just making money, because it's bigger than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's coming, guys. So yes, please get that when it drops and whatnot. And then lastly, I do this every episode, and I'm going to continue doing it. We want to thank you. Yes, you, the person who is watching this, and the person listening to it, because you guys show us every week. Right now, we're at 7.8 thousand subscribers in 2 years. That is phenomenal. Statistics show that YouTube growth does not typically happen to year 5. We're in year 2.
Yeah.
And we are constantly growing. So I want to thank you, the person listening. And then we have over 1,000 downloads on Apple Podcasts. It is a blessing. I'm just going to say that because, once again, it's not because of what we're doing. It's because of great guests like Darren and just great people in our city who are doing great things, and the fact that you guys want to see it and hear it. So thank you. Can't thank you enough on that. Guys, this is episode 161. It's been a great one, and we'll see you guys next week, okay? Peace.